I think entrepreneurship is fundamental to the health, the well-being of an economy. I mean, the major corporations are the ones that sort of seem to be employing the millions of people. But in reality, an economy becomes dynamic when you have enough entrepreneurs who actually start new businesses, take risks with their own money to actually create wealth for them and others. And you need the role models. You need the high-profile ones like Richard Branson, who inspired me back in the early 90s to start EasyJet and carry on with brand extension. But, that's not enough. I mean, you need to celebrate them and make them role models for younger people. But at the end of the day, an economy will only change structurally if you have loads and loads of entrepreneurs. And we need to learn to celebrate success and tolerate failure. We need to take a lesson from America, actually, in that respect, in the sense that American culture has been a lot more tolerant of failure, business failure, provided it's non-fraudulent, than we are in Europe. And I think that's why the American economy is growing that much faster and is actually doing so much better. So the idea that an immigrant can actually arrive in America and within a few decades can become the next Bill Gates is what drives all these people. You take risks in the process, you might fail, and in America that's considered part of the learning process. I think the entrepreneur is capable of taking risks that a normal sort of corporation investing its own money cannot actually take. It's the ability to actually take almost an uncalculated risk. Sometimes you can put a lot of spreadsheets together and analyze, paralyze data. But at the end of the day, it's the gut feeling that tells you whether it's worth risking money doing it. And the process of actually adjusting the course in order to reach profitability within a reasonable time frame is, again, uniquely the skill of an entrepreneur, in the sense that it's the entrepreneur that stays up at night to make sure that the planes are full, or the cars are out of the car park rented to customers, or the internet cafes are full, or the cinemas are full, or whatever else you're trying to do. It's the entrepreneur who will actually cut the costs if the revenues are not there to match the cost base. And entrepreneurs have the ability to take a longer term view, and sometimes in the sense that I think in my investment cycle is usually measured in 5 to 10 years, a decade. I invested in my first ventures, Stelma Shipping, a shipping company, 12 years ago, and it's now listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and possibly I would exit. So my cycles are a lot longer than they are of a PLC that has to report on a quarterly basis and have ever-increasing earnings per share every quarter. I think as an entrepreneur, you have to sort of understand the risk you're taking, make sure you have a fallback position if it goes wrong. In other words, there is a very high probability that you're wrong about what you think it's going to work. So, I'm happy with taking risks, provided you understand what your fallback position is. Be ready to actually accept that position as a fallback position. Make sure that it doesn't ruin you or whatever. So, have a way out, have an exit strategy, have if you like, a contingency plan on it, and be willing to change direction. It's not always the initial strategy that works.